Today, we're talking nerd talk. All right. Wow. It's been a while. I'm a little nervous. I keep looking at the monitor, not right there. For anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Petey. I'm 1/3 of the group Transcenders, and we just make a lot of travel content. Actually, we really document just our journey from filmmaking. So we hope you guys follow along. Today, we're going to be talking about this sweet computer that I just built right here, both for video editing, photo editing, and a little bit of gaming. You know, I do a little bit of gaming myself. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what is in here and the parts you should be looking out for to build some kind of editing PC for 2020. All right, starting off with the motherboard. I got the AORUS X570 Elite Wi-Fi. I went with the X570 over the B550, mainly because of a content creator. You know, we use a lot of USB storage. The other reason I went with the X570 is to maximize the PCIe 4.0 speed. Now, one thing to keep in mind with the X570 is I did have to flash the BIOS on this for it to work with the new Ryzen 9. The other thing is when choosing what type or what brand of X570 you want to go with, I went with one that specifically had front USB-C I/O port. Now for the CPU, pretty much the brains of the whole build, I went with the Ryzen 9 5900X. You could probably build a budget build with the Ryzen 7. I went with the Ryzen 9 just to get the extra cores. The Ryzen 9 does have 12 cores, and it helps me out a little bit with video editing, running some of the video editing programs. It also helps with having multiple programs up at the same time. So most of the time we'll either have Lightroom and Photoshop up at the same time, or Premiere Pro and After Effects up at the same time. If you go with the AMD processor, it does give you the most bang for your buck, but the Intel chips are more expensive, but it gives you more power per core. But like I said, the Ryzen chip is probably the most bang for your buck right now, both for video editing and gaming. However, Intel is more optimized for Premiere Pro, so keep that in mind. Now moving on to RAM, I went with 32 gigs of G.Skill, 3200 DDR4. This is really just RAM that I have for my old build. I think 32 gigs is a good sweet spot. It helps with multitasking a lot with your computer, so it reduces a little bit of lag there, especially if you're using multiple programs up at the same time. It also helps with Premiere Pro. If you have a project with multi-layers, it does help with that too. Not a lot of people know this, but as far as your clock speed goes on your RAM, if you just install it right out the box and you run it, it's not actually the advertised speed. So you actually do need to go into your BIOS and enable XMP. That will get your full speed RAM that you bought. As far as the power supply goes, I just have a regular EVGA 750 watt. If you go into PC part picker and you put in your exact build, it'll tell you how much watt you need. All right, we're almost done here. Now I know what the hot topic is right now, and that's graphics cards. The one I went with was the AORUS Master RTX 3070. I really actually wanted to go with 3080, but the 3070 was the only one I could get my hands on. Now, as far as choosing whether to go with NVIDIA or an AMD graphics card, just keep in mind NVIDIA is more optimized for Premiere Pro, so you probably run into a lot less problems with the NVIDIA card. I had an AMD card before, and I actually did run into a lot of problems, especially with rendering out. When you're building out your PC, a lot of people think that a graphics card is more important for video editing. I think it's actually the CPU is more important, so I would spend most of the budget on the CPU. The GPU is important. It just really helps with playback and it helps with rendering speeds. But as far as exporting and encoding goes, your CPU is going to be doing the bulk of the work. As a content creator, you know you're going to be using up a lot of storage. The way I have my PC set up, I have one NVMe M.2 card, 500 gigs. That runs my OS operating system. That runs all my programs on there, so Premiere, Lightroom, and it runs my games on there too. Next, I have a 1 terabyte SSD card. That is pretty much my scratch disk. I do all my editing projects off of that hard drive only. This is a little overkill, but I have 4 regular hard drives in this PC right now. I think one of them is really just a photo drive. The other one is for all of our client work. We have one for just our wedding files, and then I have one big 10 terabyte external hard drive, and that is just for archiving footage only. And to wrap all this together, I have it put into a NZXT H510 Elite case. In my opinion, this thing is the sweetest looking case out there that you could probably buy. I did have to upgrade the 2 fans inside to get them to be RGB. One is going to be the 140 millimeter, and then you need one that's 120 millimeter. And lastly, I think what makes this PC so unique is I decided to spend a little bit extra money and get the NZXT Kraken Z63 AIO cooler. This is one of the few ones on the market right now that has an LCD screen, but I mean, look how sweet this thing looks. So yeah, that's the PC build. I think I got everything. I don't think I missed anything, but if you have any questions or anything like that, hey, just let us know. I mean, we love talking computer talk. I am still in the process of converting Kevin and Victor over to PC, so maybe they'll come over to the dark side. I think we'll end it here. It's been a while. I don't remember what we used to say in our outro, but I guess hopefully we continue to make more videos like this more often now. See everybody in the next video. Bye.